welcome to the Royal Geek Podcast. I'm your host tonight, Justin Sandoval, aka Sandy, and I am joined by Anthony Amato, who we like to call Shamato. That's right, no T-roll. Once again, he has abandoned us for bigger and better things. Yep. I really think he didn't join us tonight because he couldn't keep up with a 3-episode drop. That's what I think it is. He just couldn't handle it.
He's exhausted.
So we called in an expert. We called in Stephen Cummings, our Star Wars expert. Steve-O, how's it going, brother?
It's going great, man. Love to be here. Super happy. Great episodes to come on the show for sure.
Ooh, man. We got Andor, man. How can you not be excited about that?
Yeah.
So, all right, let's get to the business real quick. Thank you so much for listening to the Royal Geek Podcast. We appreciate you. Please go ahead and like, subscribe, follow wherever you are listening to us or on YouTube. Go ahead and at Royal Geek Pod on all of our socials. And a 5-star review goes a long way. And sharing this with somebody who likes Star Wars, that goes a long way too. So, all that aside, we are going to do a episode breakdown of 7, 8, and 9. So, spoiler warning, because we are going to chop it up for real. We are going to break down each storyline. And we're going to cover all 3 episodes kind of at one time. So if you have not seen all of them, pause it, go watch, come back. So all that aside, gentlemen, what are your thoughts of these 3 episodes overall? I mean, speechless apparently, right?
Yeah. I mean, wow. I mean, it's probably hands down one of my top 2 all-time shows ever.
Not just Star Wars, right?
Not just Star Wars, ever. These 3 episodes, it just seems like they just keep taking up a notch each and every episode. I love it. I've watched it 2 of the episodes twice, the last episode 9 3 times.
Ooh, I love it, dude. I love to hear that. Shamato, what are you thinking here, buddy?
Man, it was incredible. Like, for me, episode 8 was a peak. That was just like the tension, the building for that whole thing, the dread as a watcher, as you see, stuff happening in that episode. It was insane. It was enthralling. It was so captivating, everything in every moment. And 7 and 9 were also just amazing episodes, but 8 for me was like mind-blowingly good.
Yeah. No, I agree with you guys. These episodes were incredible. And Steven said, you said possibly top 2 show of all time, TV show in general. I think I'm there with you, Steven. I think this is in contention to be my favorite TV show of all time. Like, it is something special that I think we're watching. And I don't know, man, the way these episodes build tension and just the intensity of every scene. There's so much at play, and we talked about it last week. I know I mentioned it, but we know what's happening. We know what's going to come, right? We know the outcome already. But like the way they're filling in all the gaps, it just makes that moment that's going to happen in Rogue One just so much more powerful.
Yeah,
it's incredible, man. I'm so happy about this.
They've just done an amazing job of, like you said, a lot of times in shows like this or movies like this, you can feel like you are just like, come on, let's get to the big stuff. Let's get to the things that are supposed to be happening. But they've made like the journey so intriguing to these points in history in the Star Wars universe with with Rogue One and everything about that. And just like you would think, just looking at it, you're like, okay, well, it's just gonna let's get as quick a lead up to like the beginning of Rogue One as possible, just so we can get the backstory. That's all we need for this show to be. But there's been so much more,
way more.
It's been so phenomenal, and just every moment is just captivating on screen.
For me, I mean, it takes me back to like Revenge of the Sith. I love getting the details of why things happen. That's just who I am as a person. And even with Revenge of the Sith, I know what's going to happen. I know Anakin's going to turn, but it still just keeps drawing me in.
Yeah.
Drawing me in. And with this show, I mean, they're doing so much detail for something that really and truly, in this grand scheme of things, is very a small part in A New Hope and the entire Skywalker saga,
Yeah.
in my opinion. And they're just giving it so much meaning.
Yeah. Essentially, it's built off of a single line in A New Hope. Many Bothans died for this. That's literally what Rogue One and Andor are completely built on, is essentially that one line.
Yeah.
Like, when you really boil it down to what's happening, and that's the insanity of just, like, that's really the true insanity of this show and Rogue One. And me and Justin were just talking about how it's just crazy that, like, essentially two of their greatest entities, especially since the Disney purchase, have been based off of something that is so much like secondary, like, should be a secondary world, like,
Yeah.
just a throwaway series.
Exactly. No, exactly. Yeah, Andor has no no right to be as good as it is right now. It really doesn't. But it is completely stealing the scene for me, and it's incredible. So
Yeah.
let's dive into these episodes here. Let's go ahead and start with what is going on with Gorman through the eyes of the Empire and
Yes.
Dedra and Cyril. So Shamato, kind of break down what's going on with them right now at this point.
So we've gotten to a point where Cyril has been on Gorman for a while. These three episodes are actually kind of unique in the sense that it's almost a continuation of the previous arc, whereas most of every other arc that they've done, even going back to season 1, have kind of been their own, like, very distinct things. Whereas this one is very much a continuation of 4, 5, and 6 for the most part. But so we're seeing Gorman, and we're seeing the beginning of the rebellion has really, or the resistance in Gorman has really, really, really started picking up, and we're seeing Cyril become more and more part of what's going on, and how things are playing out. And you're seeing Dedra show up, and you're seeing her more and more about her life and how she's keeping things from Cyril, and you're kind of seeing that kind of play out and their relationship. And that's kind of what it seems like. Like, something's happening on Gorman that other people are not meant to see and or can't see, and it is playing out that way. As I would like to throw it out to Steven real quick. How did you feel? I don't know if you listened to the podcast last week, but I essentially was throwing out that I think they're going to be mining for kyber crystals. That's where I was leaning.
I don't think they're kyber crystals. I think it does have something to do with the Death Star. My theory is, I want to say they mentioned it in the earlier episode, is it's for some type of glass protectant for the laser to be able to actually shoot it.
Okay, but okay, so the only thing I'll push back on that is I do believe that in this arc they do state that it was something that will help fix the energy issue.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean, it could be the field that contains the
Yeah.
beam. Like, it could be
very, very possible. Like, but that's the only thing that I would push back on that.
Mm.
I mean, I mean, you very well could be correct. I'm not 100% sure. None of us are 100% sure what they're doing right there, honestly. But like that would be the only thing I would say is they did specifically state that it would help fix the energy issue.
Yeah.
I definitely 100% agree with you. It's Death Star related.
Yeah.
That's the Emperor's Pride and Joy project. That's what Krennic is
I mean,
building,
yeah, he's harping on it.
on it.
And going back even to season 1, that's what he was doing in prison too. So you kind of have that symmetry that they're building. That a lot of what he's doing is he's essentially helping without helping, Andor in a little bit of a way.
Yeah, exactly. So going back to Cyril for a moment here, I kind of I was under the impression that in the 1 year that Cyril has been here, Dedra shows up obviously, but from the last interaction in episode 6, I feel like he said they got to give them the wins, right? So
Yeah.
I feel like Cyril has been so like integrated in with the resistance that they've gotten victories that they were given, quote unquote. They don't know they were given it, but I feel like Cyril has given them information that actually turned out to be okay. So then they kind of started to trust him a lot. And because of that,
He's kind of done
he's
the
kind
other
of done
way.
this. Yes, exactly. He's kind of done the same because Cyril is not a social person at all. And the fact that there's people giving him attention for all of the right reasons, I feel like it has swayed him a little bit to he's on the fence now. He was not on the fence before. He was more on the obviously the side of the Empire.
And
But
like
now
I
he's more
said,
on
like
the
I
fence.
felt like honestly through a lot of this, I was thinking I was about to be like, I might be like spot on with this Cyril like guess, but like it ended up being completely off. Well, I honestly actually don't think it's that completely off, but
Mhm.
from a sense, I just feel like it didn't end the way that it was supposed to.
I think you
felt,
got about 90% there.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I honestly like jumping ahead a little bit. But I think legitimately, if he hadn't seen Andor, he would have been a
Yeah.
rebel spy.
Ooh.
Like I think
Yeah.
100%. I think like in that moment,
He just turned red when he saw Andor.
because he
Yeah.
saw Andor, and all of a sudden, like honestly, what I think happened is he sees Andor, and all of a sudden, like his whole idea is these outside adjutants. That's kind of what he was trying to do the entire time.
Well,
he was trying
he was trying to paint that picture, right? Like that they
well,
were
no,
being empowered by the outside.
no, that's what he believed was happening. I think he 100% believed that what they were trying to do is they were trying to catch outside adjutants helping Gorman.
Okay,
That's
okay.
what he thought was going on.
And then there shows up Andor.
Yes, and then Andor shows up, which validates everything that he's been trying to do. And then in this moment, this is right after he loses Dedra essentially, and in this moment, he is so angry because they were doing something so different, and he's being so justified and by what was happening. And in this moment, he felt like because of these outside agitators, he lost Dedra. He lost his path in the Empire. And that is the reason why he was so vicious going after Andor, I think, in that moment.
Dude, he was so feral, dude. It was so it was
like,
such a crazy
I
scene.
think that's why he was doing that. I think he was legitimately, if it was anyone, I think even if he had gotten space
yeah.
for a moment, I think he may have like joined the rebellion.
Well, let's rewind for a minute. So, Cyril, he ends up confronting Dedra
Yes.
because they
That scene.
yeah.
Oh my.
He has kind of uncovered that there's more going on,
Yes.
and so he therefore goes to Dedra to kind of throw it at her.
Well, in that moment, like you actually see, like you were saying, he's starting to like feel for the resistance movement there, and like he even to the point to where he takes their word over the Empires.
Exactly, and the way he interacts with Dedra is insane, dude.
Yes.
I mean, he's coming unhinged.
Yes.
And I
Ooh,
mean,
that's
throughout this
good.
whole episode, he's second. You've never seen him second guess the Empire. In this entire episode, he's second guessing.
Yeah.
You can just feel it that he's just.
Yeah.
He's
Even more Dedra.
Dude, he's
Yes.
straight up choking this lady.
Yes.
Like, I did not see that coming. I
No,
was like,
me
wait,
either.
what is he doing, man?
No, I was blown away when I saw. I was like, he is just. This is by far like he's so buttoned up all the time, and then this is like him essentially, finally unraveling.
Yeah.
And once again, I think this was an unraveling as he found out what everyone on Gorman already knew.
Yeah.
And I think even more is that he felt like he was lied to because he was a part of the Empire that was there.
he felt betrayed.
Oh yeah.
By Dedra.
100%. Like, yeah, by Dedra, by the Empire. I think he felt completely, just in general, just, for the first time, I think he was having a huge identity crisis because he once again, like you were saying, he felt more for Gorman than he felt for the Empire at that moment.
Well, I mean, the the resistance showed like emotions, empathy, passion. Like you don't see that on the Empire. The Empire is like hatred and straight nonsense, like no nonsense. Like
I mean, Dedra alone. I mean, she's very, very no emotion.
right.
Reserved.
Yeah.
Very
Which
much
I
so.
will say, in this episode, you do get a little bit of emotion out of her.
Dude, yeah, when she's like trying to control her hand from shaking.
Yes.
Yeah, that is, dude, that's such a powerful
Dude,
scene.
the only thing that was really, I wish we could have seen more of that.
Yeah.
because I
She's
don't
under a
think
lot of stress. Like
I
she
don't
for
think we're
sure
going to
is.
see anything like that again with her. At least not for the moment, because unfortunately, it's going to jump another year.
Mm,
So I don't think it would work for her to still be having any of those type of feelings a year later.
True,
At least like
true.
on the surface like that, it would be a little, in my opinion, like stunted, and it would be a little bit like it would feel off. But so I wish we could gotten a little bit more of her just like losing
Yeah.
air for in that room.
And okay, so you mentioned Cyril kind of being a little bit more like looser, like you can tell, right? Like he was
Yeah.
kind of leaning more towards resistance. One of the physical cues that I thought was pretty impressive that they did with him is he had longer hair.
Yeah.
Longer hair is usually a sign of like
He's a hippie.
free flowing, right? Like
Yeah.
kind of
Even
doing
his
your own thing.
clothes were a little bit more like they were definitely more Gorman-ish,
Yes.
and they were definitely more like
Embrace the culture, right?
yeah, like
That
he
kind
was
of
very
thing.
much embracing the culture. Like you saw a lot more of, like especially in 4, 5, 6, you saw he was still very much in his uniform
Correct.
through all the episodes.
Correct.
Whereas in 7, 8, 9, he's much more like relaxed clothing wise.
And he kept the hair high and tight, like
Yeah.
and previously, and then now it's longer and shaggier.
Yes.
So yeah, I thought that was a pretty impressive detail
Yes.
that they did for that. So, all right, so another scene with Cyril in it before we get to him seeing Andor is he. I think this is right after he confronts Dedra. He's like walking down the alley. Everyone's kind of scrambling, and he meets like up with the daughter. I forget her name again. I don't know.
Yeah.
The daughter of the head dude. I forget.
Yeah.
Dude, I just blanked on everything. But anyway, he's like, we can still get out of here. Like, just tell me about the outside agitators, that kind of thing. And then she like slaps him right across the face and like walks away. I thought that was so cool because he was genuinely trying to be like, hey, I confirmed it. There's bad stuff happening here. Let's just go. And she was just like, are you kidding me? This is what we're all doing this for. That slap told me everything. Like that slap told me that this is bigger than us leaving here and getting out of here safely. Like we need to stand up. We need to cause a commotion. We need to get the resistance moving, like that kind of thing. Like I just enjoyed that scene thoroughly.
Yeah, it was very telling because he was like in that moment he was trying to save her.
Yes,
He was working, like he was trying to just save them. Like he had so much in that moment, like compassion for Gorman. He had so much love for Gorman. I think he was trying to figure out his place and like he was trying to save them, and like he just wasn't able to.
And for me, Cyril's given Dedra exactly what she planned for, pushing the resistance even further to where they make that ultimate mistake.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
true. That's true. But then Cyril only lands up laying eyes on Andor.
Yeah, and like he just goes red.
Immediately he throws hands, dude. If I've
Yes.
ever seen somebody go from 0 to 100, that dude right there was
Yeah.
it, man. He went from like kind of scurrying around trying to like figure out how to
He's in a
save people.
fog. It was almost like in Saving Private Ryan when they have like that like the opening scene where for a moment everything's when he's looking around and all like the limbs are missing and things like that.
Yeah.
In Saving Private Ryan,
Yep.
and he's just very like foggy. That's
what it was,
kind of
man.
where he was. Because all this stuff was happening around him, but he was slow. His mind was moving slow.
Dude, yeah, and he was beating the crap out of Andor, dude.
was.
He had Andor's number, dude. He was on another level where you like it did make it easy. If you were a trained fighter, you would not be able to because he was so feral, so raw,
Yeah.
and so uncut, man.
I think it would just also surprised him that like someone was coming at him that hard because one thing that I really loved, jumping back just for a second, is Andor is walking up the stairs and he kind of takes a right just a little bit, and you see Cyril come down the stairs, and they just miss each other, and it's like, oh, because you're just because we had seen this the first time he was on Gorman. Cyril had just left the planet, and Andor comes to the planet, and as we know, essentially the only person in the Empire who can actually identify who Andor is
Cyril.
is Cyril. So like having him like move so closely.
Yep.
But yeah, I think he was surprised by that it was this person that he knew. At least he knew who he was. At least,
Yeah.
and that like this was happening, and also I think we kind of forget that Andor isn't exactly like a physical fighter.
No.
He's very much
Point and shoot
point
kind of guy.
So he's not used to getting in hand to hand combat with people.
Now, Cyril definitely lost it, but do you believe that he may have lost it and kind of was still trying to protect Dedra? Because if you notice, I mean, Andor's getting ready to line up a shot for
That's true.
Dedra.
Yeah.
It is true. Like when he first sees him, he I think he can tell that what's about to happen. I think it is partially that. I think it's also just like I think once again, like I said, I think it was that moment of like everything that I've been thinking is true in this moment for him because he thinks things are going crazy. Andor's right here. He has a gun in his hand.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way these things aren't related. Like, in some form or
Yeah,
fashion.
it all makes
that
sense.
He
yeah.
hasn't started this, and that the Empire doesn't believe him. That these outside agitators are here.
Yeah.
His whole mission that he was given. He's given up essentially 2 years of his life, for this to happen. And he finds out that the whole mission was just a cover for something else.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, no, that's crazy. And he literally is about to take out Andor once and for all, and he's just staring at him in pure rage. And Andor just turns around and he's like, "Who are you?" And or what did I do to you, or something? I don't know, something along those lines. I think it was.
It might be "Who are you?" because
I think it was "Who are you?"
because that's the name of the episode.
Okay, there you go. He said, "Who are you?" And that threw Cyril into such a confusion because from my point of view, I feel like Cyril has thought about Andor every single day of his life.
Every single moment.
Yeah.
It's like the Thanos moment where he's like, "You took everything." She's like, first girl, which is like, "You took everything from me," and he's like, "I don't even know you." Like,
yeah, and then that throws him off just enough to stall him for him only to just get destroyed in the face. Like that was just so brutal. I did not see that coming at all.
I did not think he was going to go down that moment. For a moment, I was kind of hoping what would happen is something more like he has the gun trained on Andor, and then he just like puts the gun down and goes off.
Like, what is this all for?
Yeah, like essentially like rethinking his life's purpose. He's gotten out his anger. He's finally taken his but he's taking his time to like realize, and understand that what he originally was fighting for may not be the thing that he needs to be fighting for.
That's exactly what I thought was going to happen. I was shocked whenever he got shot. I mean, I wasn't expecting at all. I mean, because you see him, he's just kind of like disarming himself, essentially. He's putting the gun down and is going to think for a minute. And then next thing you know, pow.
and on top of that, the guy who shot him,
Willman, right? Wasn't it Willman?
It was.
Oh no! It was the bigger
No, it was the
Gorman guy,
leader.
wasn't it? Oh, was it the leader?
It was the leader.
It was the leader of the resistance, in
Oh.
the area, which is extremely ironic because he's literally
The one.
was out in the streets saying, "Non-violent resistance is the only way." Like literally, like he was literally saying this multiple times throughout the episode. He was trying to stop his people from going to the city center, and gosh, I just love this. I love how they built the tension up to all this that was happening in Gorman. And I love how, I love that that it's all structured. That it was all set up. Like, the entire area. They open up the area so that people will come.
Let them in, maybe. Let them in. Like the marching crowd.
Yeah,
Like,
all the crowds there. They bring out the inexperienced troop.
Gosh, yeah, that's
The
true.
inexperienced troops on purpose, and then they have a guy take out one of their own guys
Yes.
on purpose, so that it starts the melee.
Writing the narrative, man.
Yeah,
That's what the Empire does
It's
best.
100%. So it once again, like going back to history, it's a what is known as a false flag program.
Yeah.
Is what it is. It's very similar to like. A lot of countries have done this throughout time to create moments to be able to do things. Like, for example, we use Nazi Germany as an example last week, and actually they do something very similar when they invaded Poland. They invaded they went across the border and attacked I think it was a radio tower, and what they did is they dressed up after they killed some Polish people. They dressed them up in German gear and were like pointing at them, being like, "Look what the Polish did to us." And so essentially, they use that as a motive to invade Poland. And I think it was very similar like setup where they were very setting up everything
Yeah.
to be able to where they could essentially do whatever they want on Gorman.
Yeah, and so much so where like the massacre, it was broadcast obviously like throughout the galaxy.
Yes.
And this one line that happened in the Senate.
Oh, I hope you. Oh,
No.
go ahead.
Oh, well, it was one of the senators talking who was helping to write the narrative for the Empire, and he was like, yeah, this massacre was terrible, but like we lost one of our own, like, and they're referring to Cyril, like the fact that the Empire lost like one person, like of significance, compared to the entire Gorman town just being wiped out. But the narrative was like, see, this pushback, this rebellion, this resistance is causing us to lose our own people, and he and even our one. Like he emphasized the number one. Like it was just crazy.
What I really also loved is there was a moment where Dedra is talking in a meeting with her superior. I forget his name, but they use a specific line, and honestly, I really wish I had a better mind on this specific line at this moment. But the thing is, the line is then specifically used in one of the broadcasts so it's kind of showing this line of like the falsehood of free press. Like, so what it was seeing it in like that ISB meeting is showing that, and then seeing it literally word for word used in the broadcast that the reporter was giving was really cool because it was showing that it is this facade of that is the free press in the Empire at the moment.
Dang, dude, such a good storyline there for Dedra and Cyril. I think this is a good transition since we're starting to talk about a lot of political stuff.
Yes.
We want to go to Mon Mothma now? Is that what we talked about? Or
I think we were saying we were going to go to Andor.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
I have one thing to go off with this Cyril and the Dedra.
Go for it.
Did y'all notice the bellhop who got at the front desk?
Yes, that's a good point.
Yep, and
Good shout.
he ends up having his moment, throwing the bomb
Yeah.
and causing it. But did you hear what he says?
I missed it.
Rebellions are built on hope.
Ah.
Yes, he does say that. And I think it was really interesting seeing him there. And I think in that moment, I think kind of what he was thinking was, I can't live with myself if I'm another person who lives through another massacre.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's kind of where he was at when he throws the grenade and why he sacrifices himself.
He was probably thinking, like, my dad saved me for this moment, I think.
Yeah,
Like,
I think that was part of it. Maybe he was even thinking, like, my dad saved me so that I could save Andor.
I did think it was pretty funny, though, and, like, Andor's checking in as the as the press or whatever, the media person, and he's like, welcome back. Like, he just, like, kind of calls it out for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because he's very cryptic because the girl next to him is
full of Empire, that kind of thing.
Is very
and
much.
then she walks away. He's like, she's gonna report you. Like,
yes,
you have until this time, and he's like, oh, okay, yeah,
yeah. And then we find out when he comes down that he gave him even more time. He's like, I never logged you in.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, cool. Now transition to Andor, since we're talking about Andor.
Yes.
So Shamato, kind of break down what Andor's kind of doing right now.
First off, like at the beginning, getting to see Yavin. That was super cool.
Yep.
That's the first thing that we really see of Andor is he has moved back to he essentially has another like base that he's going back to. We see for the first time in Andor the Yavin base that the very famous Yavin base that that is going to be that is going to be in the future. He's back after a mission. He's taken a blaster wound.
Mm-hmm.
And Bix is worried about him And
It hasn't
essentially,
healed. It's
yeah,
been we're led to believe that it's been a while,
yeah,
and he's still feeling it.
yes, it's been a while. It's not healing. Um, and she's just generally worried about him and this situation that is up with him. And um, she ends up essentially, we get to see a little dabbling in the
Force,
Force.
yeah.
Yes,
Which this is a interesting scene because Bix kind of lures Andor out,
yes,
and as soon as he realizes that she's taking him to go see a Force healer, she's kind of surrounded by a group of people trying to do her thing,
yeah,
and she stops everything and kind of gravitates towards Andor, and he's like, "You set this up? Like you're doing this?" She's like, "No, no, I have no idea about this." And it truly was the Force like leading her
yeah,
to Andor, and she does drop a line saying like, I haven't felt this in a while. Like I thought I was just pretending or like going through the motions until I haven't felt this in a while, and then finally here it is and speaking to me, that kind of thing, which I thought was very very interesting because clearly she had felt the Force before in her past, but like she really has just been going through the motions and not necessarily being one with the Force, but knowing that she had used it before in the past, and now she's like hoping that it comes back in the future.
yeah. It was. It's interesting because it's very much like a. It seems like she's a false healer in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
They're playing it like that, like shady type of healer type of role, like you would see somebody on the street or in a kind of shady church atmosphere, like that type of environment where people are taking advantage of people and in some ways, and it's interesting because like it's kind of laying to the fact that, and what she was kind of like almost probably saying in that moment is, at one point the universe was so full of the Force,
Mm-hmm.
and especially right now, we're at essentially as almost as low as you can get in the Forces, like living through people at the very least, because so many Jedi have been killed. Essentially, you have the two main Sith that are around, and then essentially every other Jedi has their heads down.
Yeah.
Keeping to
There
himself.
are Jedi around, but they are very few and far between. There are some Force sensitive people that are around as well, and it's just it used to be everywhere, and
Prominent,
now it's
yeah.
become much more small, tiny pockets.
I mean, everyone's scared right now to use the Force.
Yeah,
I mean, with the Inquisitors and everything else going around.
Yeah, no, that's a
very
good
much
point.
so,
Very,
yeah.
very good point. And so, well, I mean, that's what kind of, I mean, I'm assuming that's what kind of led her to Yavin was kind of, that she would feel safe to be able to practice her quote
Yeah.
unquote force at the time. But she does end up healing Andor, and
Yeah.
Bix is like, yes, told you so,
Yeah.
like that kind of thing. And so then he is kind of given a mission after that,
Yeah.
which was it Vel that came to tell him that, or would that come after he left? Which one was
Wilson
that?
gave him the mission,
Oh,
and
yeah.
actually, he did it before. Now, I was going to ask y'all, do y'all think that kind of led him to going on that mission? Because he's very hesitant to go on it before he got healed.
That's actually interesting because she did tell him like you're a messenger, that you're like you got a bigger purpose, that kind of thing. And then he wakes up healed, and yeah, you know what? That kind of I think it might have motivated him to take Will's mission from Luthen.
It might have, yeah.
And so he goes on the mission, which we learn the mission is to assassinate Dedra, right?
Yes.
But Bix is kind of left behind on Yavin, and like she has a little small interaction with Vel. Vel just kind of pops up out of nowhere. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Wait, what? Where'd you come from?" That kind of thing. She looks kind of battle torn, doesn't she? Like the way she's
Yeah.
her appearance and everything.
I think kind of what's happened is she after Cinta's death,
Yeah.
she's essentially dove into her work. Essentially, like she's like every single mission, she's like, I want this one. I want this one. Like she's got her hand up. She's trying to just forget and just distract herself
Yeah.
from the pain that she's feeling from that by diving into the attacking the Empire.
Yeah, which Vel does have an interesting scene later on, which actually we can probably talk about that scene now because it has no significance to Andor's story yet. But they are collecting the weapons of all the people there, and they lay them all on the table, and it's for a random selection. Is that what I'm Am I reading into that right? Like she picks a random gun, and that's to assign somebody whoever's gun they picked up to do a mission, right? Is that what it is, or no?
I think what it is those are all the weapons they came with.
Okay,
And they're
but
inspecting them.
Yes.
I don't know. Hmm. So they were just inspecting the weapons. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
I kind of,
Yes.
I kind of looked at it like she was looking at all the weapons to inspect them, and then when she picked one, it was because whoever's weapon that was means they were trained and skilled, and she was going to actually like groom them. That's what I kind of took.
Okay, I mean that very well be the
Mhm.
reason why she was doing it, but it
Yeah.
wasn't like she was calling somebody out. Like it wasn't like those weapons were there and she was trying to call somebody.
Which we're gonna hopefully see what comes with that later
Yeah,
on, which I
hopefully.
think it's gonna be pretty cool. I don't know, whatever it is. So anyway, what do you
I
guys
took
think?
it as more of like a sentimental kind of feeling that it maybe it belonged to someone that she knew.
Could it have been Cintas?
Ooh.
That's
You
what I was
know?
kind of thinking.
Okay, that could be interesting. That'd be an interesting wrinkle. Okay, well, yeah.
I
Then
didn't
I really
100%
want
like recognize the gun.
no.
Neither did I.
Like for anything. Like I understood that it had some sort of an importance, but I didn't really catch anything specific.
There's some kind of symbol on it on the handle.
Yeah.
I gotta look at that.
Maybe
a
it
little
was from like the same place that she was from or something like that.
more. Okay. Yeah. I'm not sure, but I'm looking forward to see where that happens with that. So, Andor is on his mission. He is he is on Gorman, and
Can I just say, like, Wilman needs to stop being such a horn dog. Like, he finds
These
another
girls.
girl that
dude.
he is just apparently over the top for.
Yeah.
Who cares about that girl that he had that he literally let Brasso die for? You know,
That's true. You're
like
right.
now he's trying to throw away his life on Drina. You know, everything that's going on Gorman. He even tries to throw away his own life by trying and messing up the mission later on by refusing to leave without her.
Yeah, he's a little too attached there, but he does go back with Will. He meets up with Drina and the group there,
Yeah.
and they kind of set a rendezvous point. And then this is where we talked about Andrew's interaction with the bellhop, who's now the host. Apparently, I think he's moved
Yeah.
up in the world.
He's
Apparently,
moved up. Yep.
and Andor has his fight with Cyril, misses his shot with of killing Dedra, and then Andor returns to Coruscant. Right? Didn't he go to or did he actually go back to Yavin? He didn't go back to Yavin, did he? I don't think he did.
I think he does because um, he definitely goes back to Yavin at one because let me think. Where does he go? Does he meet up with?
I'm pretty sure he went straight to Coruscant. I think.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure too.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Go with
Yeah.
that then.
So he went back to Coruscant because Will was telling him like Luthen needed him or
Yeah.
something, right? And so he then is given a mission by Luthen and Clea to extract a very important senator.
Yes.
And I don't know if he says that he's collecting Mon Mothma. I don't think he does. Does he? I don't think he does yet, at least.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't say it initially.
Yeah. But Andor's like, dude, I'm out. I'm out. Like he's trying to tell Clea, like, I'm done with this. I want to go back and be with Bix and just find a peaceful place and like rest for whenever the heck all this madness is done. And Clea's just like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, why are you even speaking like this? And so he said this is the last go around, and he'll do this. He'll extract it. What did you guys like think about Andor's kind of, I don't know, overall demeanor during this whole thing?
To me, I mean, he says something powerful, and I think Clea says something powerful back to him. You know, he wants to make his own decisions, and she goes, "I thought that's what we were fighting for."
Yeah.
Yeah, so good, dude.
Yeah, and it's kind of just like this moment of like he's kind of rattled by what happened on Gorman, I think a little bit, and you know I think it's important because he's one of the they kind of get at the point that he's like one of the few people that were actually there.
Yeah,
You know what he actually has, what makes him in a way special because he's a voice that was there. He's one of the few voices that is actually telling the truth about what happened on Gorman.
yeah. He's a Gorman survivor at this point,
Yes.
and they say, let's use that. You're going to be press coming straight from Gorman to figure out the fallout ramifications for the Senate hearings.
Yes.
And so that was his in. He He goes in as a journalist slash reporter.
The same journalist, I believe. Yeah, he's the same journalist. Yes.
Same name. He uses the same name. And they say that he doesn't get like an actual spot. He's a floater. But then kind of at the same time, the whole reason this is all set up is because we see Bail Organa. His crew is compromised.
Yeah.
And it cannot be trusted. And Luthen's like, nah, we cannot have Bail's team take her out. And even later on, when Mon is talking to Bail Organa, she's like, "Do you know these people?" He's like, "No, I can't. I can't know these people, but I trust them." Like, and so we see these characters enter along with Andor at the same time, and they kind of group over here in one corner to lay down a plan. Which only one of them is compromised, is what I was led to believe.
Yeah, I think only one.
Yeah. And then, but Andor gets in, and he goes where he's supposed to, but he has a lot of help from Mon's personal assistant.
Yes.
Which, dude, this guy ended up being the MVP of this episode.
Well, I mean, he is very driven because of personal feeling. Because if you remember, this guy's from Gorman.
Yeah.
His family, like, he was half Gorman, half Naboo, was what his family's lineage was. So he has a very direct.
He's so invested here.
He's very invested to what has happened and what is going on in this world.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And isn't he Mon Mothma's cousin?
Vel's her cousin.
I don't think he is. I think he's more like a right hand man to her.
Yeah.
But which is why she's very she essentially, I think she felt like this was the one person she could really trust.
Yeah.
That was maybe not family.
Right.
And so
she could rely on, for sure.
She could definitely rely on him, or at least she thought she could.
Yeah.
And she kind of felt very betrayed by everything that happened.
Oh yeah. We'll get there.
He's actually working for Luthen.
We'll get there. So then the speech goes on. Mon is giving a speech in the Senate Hall, and
I love the little subterfuge they do before to actually, because you're kind of you kind of led up to where it's oh, they're not going to let why would they let her have the floor?
Right.
Which makes a lot of sense. Why would you let someone who might be a little volatile?
Which we'll get there when we talk about Mon's storyline. We're still on Andor right now, so we'll get there.
Okay.
We'll get there. So Andor, personally, he's just listening to the speech the whole time this is going on and trying to get to where she's going to come out of. But I did find it very I don't know. I was locked into all of Andor's movements during the speech because he's walking while the speech is going on. But as she's saying certain things, Andor's just kind of, you can tell he's listening for sure, but you can tell that his energy level and his enthusiasm and his motivation is going up the closer he gets to the end of the speech.
Yeah, it's definitely impacting him.
Yes, it is 100% impacting him. So much so that he is now, the speech is over and he's like, come with me. She didn't say, are you alone? So much so where he was like, I'm telling you, I have friends everywhere because I don't want to see you do this. I get you refusing me. You think I'm just a normal reporter or that kind of thing. She refused to say the line that she was so devastated, which we'll get to, of are you alone? But he was like, I have friends everywhere. He spit it out. Let's go. Come on.
Yeah.
And he takes Mon. They're running around everywhere trying to escape this chaos. Absolutely insane. And I think this is a good time to transition to
switch
Mon.
over to Ashley Mothma. Yes.
So we're gonna pick back up here in a minute, guys. We're breaking this down for you as best we can. So Mon, prior to the speech, I think the day before, 2 days before, they heard about the Gorman massacre. They're like, this is crazy. This is absolutely insane. Yeah. And her and Bail Organa have a conversation about how unjust this is and how the empire or the Republic is falling, that kind of thing, right? And the Empire needs to be exposed, that kind of thing. Bail's like, I can't. You got to go to Yavin. You got to do this. But she's like, but I got to give a speech. She's very adamant about doing this. Bail's like, I can't. I need to be here. I need to be somebody on the inside still getting information from the Empire, that kind of thing. First off, Bail Organa here, obviously he's beloved. He's recast, but his
Yes.
character and what he has done for the Star Wars universe is still a beloved character.
Yes.
So what do you think about his choice that he made here to kind of like, I can't go with you to Yavin? Like,
I think it was a very like it had to fit into the story this way because at the beginning of New Hope he still is a senator, like
Yeah.
he is still a part of the system that is going on, and so something had to be built in there to a reason why he was still a part of the Senate, what was going on. So I think it was a very good use of you know using real reasons why they needed somebody to stay behind, someone strong who would be able to, still be, hopefully be able to talk them down a little bit, but also be able to show, out, also be able to feed information back to the rebellion.
yeah, good point.
I mean, ultimately, we're, 2 years before Battle of Yavin right now?
Yes.
Yes, I believe so.
So, I mean, and he even mentions that we're not ready at
Yeah.
this point. I mean, we still have we need more time to train, more time to
Yeah.
get leadership in, and I know y'all get to it later as far as there's a thing that happens that they're planning on to retell the story to where that helps motivate the rebellion.
Yeah. No, that's good too. I mean, like he definitely he had reasons for staying behind. It ended up being a great decision as far as like the future of the rebellion goes on. But she also was like, "You got to get me up there to speak.
Yeah.
You got to get me on there." And he's like, "Do you know how hard that's going to be?" He said it's going to be extremely hard, and it's going to take a lot of pulling strings and talking. And she mentions like so and so is still on our side, like that kind of thing, which I believe is the lady.
Yes.
Which we end up seeing how it trickles down, and so Mon's like he's like I'll go practice my speech, and we see her driver. Like this was such a weird focal point of the storyline where the driver's like dropping her off, and he's like, "Oh, do we expect you to go back soon?" Like he's like super pushy,
Yeah.
super questiony, which was like a dead giveaway of like, okay,
Yeah.
you're ISB, you're working for the Empire, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so they're like 100% like, okay, he can't be trusted. But like leave him in place because we know they might put him back with somebody smarter, like
Yeah.
replace him with somebody smarter. So then,
I did love how they decided to leave him there.
yeah,
Just
exactly.
Let him feed information.
Um,
Although I will say, like, the same thing that we're seeing for Andor, there were moments in the way the actor portrayed the driver listening to the speech that left a little ambiguity to, like, what his intentions could have been.
yeah,
my mind.
I mean, no, maybe. I feel like it had to do with his experience with just being around Mon. Like, I feel like he was like, oh yeah, she's just really good person and her values and stuff. But like, I'm getting a paycheck from the Empire. I think it was that kind of thing. I don't know, maybe.
But I'm just thinking, like, once again, I think at that moment there's a possibility, if certain actions weren't taken, he might have. Once again, maybe I'm just thinking a little bit, trying to see the best in people. I feel like there were moments where I could have seen him jumping ship from the Empire.
Maybe. I don't know. But anyway, so they go back to, she's in her office and she's trying to practice her speech, but the guy's like, we got to sweep. There's listening devices found everywhere. They find the device. She breaks it. He said, go outside and to practice your speech. She goes out there and Luthen confronts her. And Luthen is like, this is where he tells, like, you're compromised. Your exit strategy is not good. I'm sending a guy. Here's the code words, that kind of thing. And then he kind of reveals that her personal assistant has been working for Luthen since the wedding, right? Is that what he said?
Yes,
Since the wedding?
he said since the wedding.
And so then she is so, like, distraught about this whole entire situation, which I feel like, yes, Luthen killed her childhood friend, which we brought up.
Yes, which I think that's a large part of it for her.
Huge portion of that. But she literally is by herself on this island, and Luthen is the only one who knows her cause and what they're fighting for. And she's like, "You are a terrible human being, and I don't want anything to do with you." Basically, to Luthen, which I found very
in a way, it was like almost she was kind of seeing like the Empire is evil and Luthen is evil in a way.
Yeah.
So she found herself like once again, like you said, on an island almost, like both are evil in that moment.
Yeah.
for her.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Tensions have obviously been growing for the year that we've been come to know that's passed between her and Luthen, and I mean, he even says it in the previous 3 episodes. Is you have that luxury of not knowing what's really going on.
Yeah.
And
true.
Mon Mothma is, I feel like, still in that bubble of just where she's a senator and trying to get things done politically still.
Yeah, done the right way.
Yeah.
Essentially.
I think she's a little too focused on the right way of doing things. But at this point, like, you just, whatever the opposite
Get it done.
is of the Empire, you just need to do it,
Yeah,
whatever it is.
I really do think a lot of it is like up until this point, it was essentially she's like, well, we have to go by the letter of the law, and we have to, and we have to do it the right way, so that when we do change everything, it
still
lines
maintain
up and everything is
civil-
nice.
yeah.
But it's like, but in the background, you're seeing hundreds of people die and like doing things just to like,
yeah.
try to fight against this. Essentially what was
This evil. This
evil.
yeah.
This is pure
Which
evil.
she brings up in her speech, but
And you see it growing through the episodes. I mean, the very beginning, she's trying to push through bills and justification to help the Gorman. But I mean, and you'll see in the very end, the speech that you brought up as far as the evil. She's finally understanding there has to be a different way.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And so she ends up waiting to give her speech, and this other senior senator goes and speaks after a bunch of Empire loyalists, basically.
Yeah.
And she gives the floor to Bale. Bale's like, did we all just hear a speech where this was an emergency? Okay, great. Nobody objected to that? Great, fantastic. Because you guys said it was an emergency, due to article whatever, section whatever, I am going to give the floor to another person. Right? Like, he plays it all by the letter of the law.
Yes.
Which, if this didn't like put him on the radar of the Empire, then I don't know, like, what else would. So anyway, so then she ends up being up next to speak. Just her before she's going to give her speech is so like relatable and so human at this moment. Like the anxiety she is feeling, the pressure she's feeling, like you really do feel it. And
like
when
for a moment you're like, is she about to vomit?
Right,
Like
correct.
you're literally about like she could,
honestly, would that have made the scene even better? Like if she like right before she goes out there, she's like leans over and just like yaks and then like goes out there. That would have been like even. I don't think that would have been better. Or after she gives a speech, she like lands and then like yaks and then Andor takes her, that kind of thing. But yeah, so she gives a speech, phenomenal speech, and especially while she's giving her speech, they're like, shut her down. Oh, we can't shut her down. And then like, you got to cut the whole entire power for everything. And her like final line of her speech is like talking about the evil, and it has a face, it's a monster, yada yada, right? And it's the evil like Emperor Palpatine, and boom, cuts it off, and it just a commotion everywhere.
And I love how they have multiple people who are helping her. Like you're seeing these people help her.
The facility workers,
workers who are playing their part and just being like, "Oh, well, this is supposed to be fixed, right? Like we're just doing we're doing our job. We're doing what we're supposed to be doing."
Yeah.
So that was super cool. And I also love the way she delivers that final part, because each line you can see her like she's taking a step out the door, like into
no return.
Like you can tell that she's making out. Like at any point she could adjust a word, she could adjust part of this phrase, and not put as much of a target on her back if she were not as brave as she was in that moment.
I mean, the speech in general. I mean, even before she even steps onto the floor, you sense the power of the speech because she's waiting to step out onto the floor, so to speak, until Belle gives her the go ahead. And even when she's speaking about how the truth has been taken away from the Senate. It's being manipulated. Everything that's going on in the universe right now is fully being manipulated by this evil, ultimate being, Emperor Palpatine. And it's just so powerful. And she finally, like you said, ends it with this monster, Emperor Palpatine, and it cuts off.
Yes, exactly. And so then this is where we catch up with Andor. He comes and takes her, and they are just running around everywhere trying to get out. And she's just like, I can't do this. And she's like freaking out. And I love the line, dude, the title of the episode, obviously, when he is they're going through the heading to the outside area, and she's like, "Oh my goodness!" Like the anxiety in her face in general, and she basically says like, "I don't know if I can do this." And he said, "Welcome to rebellion." Like, and just I'm telling you, when he said that line, I audibly like stood up, pumped my fist, like, "Yes, let's freaking get it, baby!" Like, yeah, the rebellion, we're locked in.
Yeah.
And so he then is confronted by the driver and escaping the bridge on the bridge area. And he's like, tell me his name. And she says, like, I don't forget, it was like Klaus or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
and he's like, hey, we got her. And then he like shoots him. He's dead. She's in shock and awe, like dread. Like you didn't see a bunch of people get killed in the past, like that kind of thing.
Well, yeah, and there is one scene I wish they kind of did slightly differently. So when she meets up with the three people from, so what I was kind of hoping
Organa's team, yeah.
The Organa's team, and it's down to 2 at this point because the traitor has killed one of the members. I was almost kind of hoping, like in this moment, Mon Mothma would come up on the team with Andor, and there'd be a moment of like, she's like, but wait, he said there'd be 3. And like that was her realization moment that the team wasn't secure, and like she had taken that agency to like, that was her moment to be like, okay, this is the person I need to trust.
Yeah.
Andor's the person I need to trust. And I do love her, like, her personal assistant in that moment is.
Oh, he comes up
he's a
so
G.
clutch, dude. So
Like-
clutch.
Now, the one thing I'll say about the secret agent in the team is how stupid do you have to be to get on your walkie-talkie
Oh, I know. How dumb was that, dude?
with the person so close? I mean,
Yeah.
talking about
He's like getting a blaster, trying to be secretive, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna be secretive too. Like, I'm gonna get on my walkie-talkie."
Yeah.
And how easy to find a blaster, right? Like, I feel like how the calculated time that she thought she had to wait for the operator to go get a supervisor to then come back and talk to her. Look, the Empire is just so like backwards when it comes to
They're
organization.
so well. It kind of feeds into like this idea of everything that the Empire does is from this point of view that anyone that is not Empire is a bumpkin. They're all dumb. They're all poor. They're all uneducated.
Yeah.
And it's just like you see it in all these moments in their underestimating of what they are capable of.
Yeah, no, that's good. And so anyway, they killed the driver, and Andor takes Mon Mothma to his former apartment, the safe house that they have.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is a good time because it's a weird setup with the Andor release. Next week is the finale, 3 episodes.
Yes.
So we play a game on the penultimate episode, which this is going to be the penultimate week, apparently.
Yeah.
We're going to play a fun game called Buy or Sell. Now, Steven, I think you've been a part of at least 1 or 2 of these.
I have not been a part of one yet.
Really?
Oh.
Okay. Wow. So you've been looking forward to this, I think.
I am very much so.
So I thought that you had been a part of it because when you came here before the pod, you're like, "Are we playing buy or sell?" Like, so, dude, that's exciting. You're looking forward to this. All right.
Very much am. I'm an avid listener, of course.
Okay. All right. Here we go. All right. Buy or sell, fellas. I'm going to say a statement, and you're going to either tell me you're going to buy it because you think it's going to happen, or sell it because you don't think it's going to happen. Here we go. We will see a rebel character from the Rebels cartoon show.
A rebel character from them there. I am going to go ahead and say I'm going to say yes.
Okay. You're buying it.
I'm going to say potentially like Hera.
Okay. All right. What do you think, Steven?
If he didn't bring up Hera, I was going to sell it, but I could definitely see Hera in this.
Okay, all right. Myself, I am going to buy it, but I do think it's going to be more of like the way we kind of like they said, okay, Andor, you can't take her because we need like we need a good like presentation of bringing her to Yavin. And so I think it's going to be her getting dropped off and then like them flying away, but like you see all the characters in the ship flying away, like because if you know Rebels season 3 episode 18, Secret Cargo is the title of the episode, and they literally go and pick up Mon Mothma. Like I think that's going to be the case. So
That would be super cool.
it would be. It's
That
like
would be really cool.
it's the exact continuation of this entire scene, and,
And it-
because they literally Luthen literally tells Andor, he's like, it can't be you. Sorry, like you take Will to go get a medic and bring him back, like that kind of thing.
I mean, it could be something as small as just seeing Chopper in the background.
Yeah, it could be, but it could be. I mean, it could be their ship. Like it could be like
I mean,
just
yeah,
flying off.
they've already cast Tara
Oh
and
yeah, like Ahsoka is
Sabine.
using all those
Yeah.
characters. Like, why not see Ezra, who's already cast and revealed? Like, why not? Right? Like,
Yeah.
okay, I think I'm buying that. I'm buying that. Okay, let's see. Luthen is going to die.
Um, I'll buy that.
I'm
Steven,
buying it.
you're buying it. I would have bought it until I saw what happens to Bix, and I'm like, because I was 100% buying that one, but I'm actually gonna sell this
That's
because
like Bix's journey has been insane.
yeah, such a wild up and down. I fully thought that Bix was gonna die, and that's why Andor is stuck by himself with K2SO.
Yeah.
But no, it's complete opposite. Actually, Bix leaves him for the good of the rebellion.
Yes.
How crazy and selfless was that, dude?
Oh, it was insane.
Incredible, absolutely incredible. So, with that being said, here's a two-parter. Will we see Bix again? / Andor will attempt to search for Bix in these final 3 episodes.
I'm gonna sell him searching for Bix,
Okay.
and unfortunately, I'm gonna sell him also seeing Bix again because I felt that was kind of writing her off. But I do have a couple things like after you guys buy or sell, I would like to add on some like interesting scenes that I could see playing out with her if they decided to actually put her in there.
All right, Steve. What about you?
I'm gonna sell. Definitely him hunting for her. I'm gonna buy her making another appearance though.
Okay. I'm in the same boat, Steven, as you. I'm selling the hunting, and I'm buying the we're going to see her again. All right, what do you got, Jemima?
so the kind of ideas I had were potentially 2 scenes. Number 1 is we see her scene with her and Mads Mikkelsen, and they kind of together since she's very techie related. The two of them work together on developing the very flaw in the Death Star that ends up being, of course, the big thing for the rebellion.
Interesting.
So that's number 1, and number 2 is a much sadder thing. Is that we end up seeing a scene where she's at the base that they destroy in Rogue One.
Oh my goodness.
Where when they assassinate, or when
They get the plan.
Galen dies.
Oh, and Galen dies. Oh.
So she was so they have that previous scene and she's there and she ends up dying there.
Oh wow.
So like, and she gets to see like essentially like almost Andor like one last time.
Wow. Okay, that's tough, dude. I don't know, man. That'd be wild. But that does lead me into my next buy or sell. We will see a few scenes from after Andor's fate in Rogue One.
I'll buy that.
You'll buy that? Okay, Steven?
I'll buy it.
I'm buying it too because I really think that would be the nice cherry on top moment.
I mean, and then I can't think of the actor's name that plays Andor, but he even says
Luna.
once you watch this, you're going to want to rewatch Rogue One, and you're going to see it completely different.
Yeah. Diego Luna. That's true. I mean, we rewatched it right before doing these reviews, so I would love to rewatch it again after the series ends. So that'd be cool. All right. Next buy or sell, we will see Darth Vader, Thrawn, or Tarkin again. We've mentioned Tarkin's name.
Yes.
Or Palpatine. We'll see Palpatine.
I think I'll buy that we'll get one of them.
Okay.
At some point.
Okay. Steven?
I'm going to buy and really hope that we get at least one of them.
Yeah.
I could definitely see it being.
I'm gonna buy it as well. But I think it'd be very interesting if they did Darth Vader because obviously the great James Earl Jones is deceased, but he did sell his likeness and voice to Disney, so they could still use his voice through AI. So I think it'd be very interesting to see that play out.
Yeah.
Plus, it's Darth Vader. Come on, that'd be great. All right, so my final question here for buy or sell is: we will see a. Okay, let's see how. Okay, we will see a divide within the rebels as far as the Yavin crew versus Saul's crew versus like Luthen's. Like
Yeah.
there's going to be a clear divide between the radicals of Saul, the former Republic of Yavin, and then the like secrecy of Luthen.
Yeah, I think kind of like, so just peel back the curtain a little bit. This is the one that I kind of threw out. And kind of like the idea is just like there has to be some sort of like singular direction. I think in a lot of what's going on, and we've seen these three distinct entities that have been a part of the rebellion. And I think a lot of what, especially Andor, has been about is about honing what the rebellion really is. It's sharpening the knife to make it this functional force that it is in the original trilogy. So that's kind of what I was getting at.
Okay. Well,
so-
you going to buy it or sell it?
I mean, I do think there's going to have to be some sort of a
Divide.
there has to be some sort of reconciliation in some way. Like they're going to have to figure out their differences because right now they're almost working as three different entities.
Correct.
Honestly.
They really are. The fact that Mon and Luthen are so against each other right now.
Yeah.
In fact, that they are on the same exact side. Like that blows my mind. And then like a part of me thinks that I do kind of want to sell this, and in the mindset of the very last scene we saw Saul in, where he was just kind of like he's giving his monologue, embracing the craziness of the fumes and the gas or whatever the heck it was intoxicating him, right? I feel like that was kind of a moment where it could have been like, okay, this dude's just built different. He's going to take this to a whole new level. And that could have been interpreted as like he's a radical, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. What about you, Steven? Buying or sell?
Yeah. Go ahead, Steven. Do your thing.
I'm gonna buy it because for me, if we don't see Saul again, it for that episode is kind of like a throwaway, and they really didn't do much with it for me at least. That would be the only negative I would have about the entire series.
Yeah, I would want to see him again too. I think there's a little bit more to add on to that. I mean, we obviously see it in Rebels, obviously, but like I would see a little bit more.
I do think. I don't think, honestly, I think that there won't be necessarily reconciliation with Saul just because of the fact that in Rogue One, he is a very distinct, like, separate entity. I think we could see a break with him, but something has to happen with between Luthen and the Yavin base.
Yeah.
Like, they have to become a solidified entity, and I think a lot of what's going to be happening is this is about, like I said, about them like making themselves a real thing. And I think that was something they talked about a lot in this episode when they were on Yavin. I don't know who the guy's name is that is essentially the leader, but he's also in Rogue One. He's actually one of the guys that's essentially saying like, I don't think we should do this when they're doing the final mission in Rogue One. But I think like they need to have a solidified entity that is guiding them instead of just all these random pieces. So they need all the pieces to come together, I think, for them to be a functional fighting force.
And I mean, even in Rogue One, they even say that they've had a falling out with Saul. At one point they did work together. So I'm hoping we can see kind of what happens between that. I think that would kind of put it together a little bit for me as far as that storyline goes for Saul.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, that was fun. Buy or sell. Let's get kind of back in the story. Like we mentioned through our buy and sell that like Andor was told not to deliver Mon to Yavin. Instead, they were going to set up the Gold Squadron to bring it in, bring her in nice and shiny, like that kind of thing, like being a beacon of hope for the entirety of Yavin. And so we don't see Mon anymore. We then now Andor returns. Will gets treatment from the people on Yavin, the medics on Yavin. He then returns to Bix, and which we mentioned in the breakdown of buy or sell. He tells her, "I'm done. I'm leaving. Let's go ahead and find a small place somewhere in the galaxy, and we can just live together because you are it. You're mine. You're my whole thing."
Yes.
He says, "Why aren't you saying anything?" And she's like, "I'm just listening. I'm listening to you." And so then they go to sleep, And he wakes up, she's not there. He finds a video message, and she tells him, "For the good of the rebellion, I'm leaving because you need to focus, and I can't be a distraction because you are meant for so much more."
Yeah.
Dude, Bix has come such a long way,
Like,
dude.
honestly, like
Within 3
huge left
episodes.
turn.
So,
Like, but after episode like 4, like I think me and Justin, 4 or 5, me and Justin were 100% convinced that she was like a dead woman walking.
yeah,
Like she was
exactly.
going to be gone like the next 2 episodes.
Oh yeah. We thought like she's
I
dead.
mean, she's barely functional. I mean, now at the very end of I think it's episode 5 when they blow up the
I think it might be 6 actually.
6 when
Because I
they
think 5 is essentially the last time we see her in 5 is she's like laying on the bed, essentially like
Yeah,
like
I thought she was
drugged
dead
out.
there. I thought she
Yeah,
was dead
I thought that
there.
was a decent
Yeah.
chance she was like on her way
Yeah,
out.
but then she
dead.
closes out the episode 6 with her and Andor taking out Dr.
Yes.
Gorst.
Yep, and you finally see that little bit of life there, and then a year later, she's at Yavin. Seems like she's gotten over all of the things that have happened to her.
Yeah. Yeah, she's focused. She kind of has it kind of feels like she's like found her spiritual center. It feels
Yeah.
like she's kind of
And I think that the Force Healer has done a lot for. I think she 100% is in on that.
yeah.
like-
Oh yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
So then she's gone. Andor's like sprinting, trying to catch her, and she's long gone. Like this, she left like in the dead of night, that kind of thing. And he's just like torn apart, confused, like doesn't know what to do with himself. And some guy's like, "Hey, that droid you brought in from Gorman is we're about to wake it up. You want to see it?" He's like, "Okay, sure." He goes on over there, and the scientist or robotics engineer or whatever is like, "Okay, I'm explaining all this to you. He's gonna be like disoriented. He could potentially like freak out.
We don't know where his mind is really gonna be."
And he's like, "Here's some protective goggles." And Andor's like, "Give me a gun, dude. I don't want no freaking goggles. Give me a gun." I thought that was hysterical. And so they activate the droid, and it is our beloved K2SO. And the very first thing that he says to him, he's like, "If I've offended you, I do apologize, but I'd ask kindly if you would lower your weapon."
Yeah. Which
Dude,
honestly
so
is a
good.
very un-K2SO thing to say, honestly, if you really think about it, with the way that he normally talks.
Yeah.
Like, if I haven't offended you, like that seems like that's something that wouldn't be him at all.
Oh yeah. No, for
And
sure.
also, like, throwing all the way back is when, because Cyril's in a room with all the K2 units at one point,
Yes.
and there's one that looks at him.
Staring at him.
down.
Yes,
Yeah.
that stares him down, and I'm convinced.
Oh,
and
for
I'm
sure.
sure everyone
Oh, yeah.
else is.
It is.
That is K2SO.
Oh yeah.
right there. Like there's
It
some
is.
of that personality, like that defiance in him.
Oh no. You're right. 100%.
100%.
And Andor's just kind of looking at him, staring at him, and then that's it. The episode ends.
Yep.
And dude, fellas, insane, dude. I have no idea what to expect for next week. I know my expectations are high. This series has been on another level. This series has been, I'm telling you, like through 9 episodes, I'm like sitting up at night and like, is this my favorite show of all time? Or is like Breaking Bad or like all these other shows that I've watched in my lifetime? I'm like, is this really about to take the number 1 spot for me? And honestly, it's how it ends, man. It's how it ends. It's like
It makes a big difference. I do think there's a lot of positivity with the fact that they are like, this is gonna run into essentially Rogue One. This is it.
mhm.
It seems like they have no plans to go past season 2.
They don't. They,
which-
the advertisement is this is the second and final season of Andor. That's the
Of
advertisement.
course, that doesn't mean anything nowadays, but with the way that
I think with Disney it does because I don't think they have the budget to keep going. So,
Disney
dude,
always has the budget.
just to let you know, Disney Plus, they're hemorrhaging money at Disney Plus. They are absolutely in the red. Like they do not have any money in Disney Plus. They're making all their money from everything else.
Yep.
So,
But yeah, I just think like I like when a show has a plan for its end game, and then they execute it.
Yes.
So
yeah,
that's what we're
exactly.
going to see is how well they can execute it. But I do like the fact that they're like 2 seasons. This is what we're doing. Everything that they have done so far seems to be pointing at the fact that they had a plan from the very beginning.
It's
Even
kind of hard
down,
not to have a plan
yeah,
when you know the ending, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, like, but you could just meander about and be like, well, we can fit another year here. We can fit another year here to get another season here,
yeah.
another season there, that kind of stuff. You can do that. But it was very obvious that they were trying to make it to where it's like, this is the arc. Like, they knew what they wanted to do. They were like, this arc, this arc.
Yeah.
They knew exactly what they were doing, where they were going to place certain things in time, and they just like really understood what they were doing.
Ooh, Shamato. You know what I just realized? Dude, phenomenal episodes. These are great, but we are actually going to guest on another podcast to review, and it's going to be episode 8, dude. The one that that you said is peak. That's the episode that we're going to be reviewing on
That is
that
phenomenal.
guest pod.
I was not even thinking about
Yeah.
that, but dude, if it was an episode, if I had to pick one episode, that'd be it so
Yeah.
far. Because that episode is like, legitimately, I
Yeah.
was watching it and I was like, I
Yeah.
was shook.
Oh yeah.
Like,
You had
it
this
is
weird out of body experience. Like
Yeah.
it was such a good episode. So yeah, we are going to be the entirety of Royal Geek Podcast is going to be guest starring on another podcast to break down episode 8 of Andor in a couple weeks. They're doing one episode a week where more sane actually. Like they are more they're smarter than us. Because we are actually just insane for doing 3 episodes at a time. But I'm loving it. I'm loving every second of it. But anyway, we're going to be on that podcast. Before that comes out, we'll go ahead and drop that in details for you guys. But dude, fellas, what a absolute journey this has been, and I'm so excited to see where this goes.
I mean, these episodes have been fantastic. This season's been fantastic. I mean,
Dude, you saw 9 3 times, man. What else? Like,
I
do you have any
know,
other
I mean,
nuggets that we missed? Like,
even episode. There's a funny nugget on episode 9. If you see in the background, there's some aliens that look like dolphins
what? When? Where?
in the scene.
Is it a Senate scene?
Yes, it's whenever Belle and Mom Martha are talking. They're in the background, and they're in blue suits, and they kind of look like dolphins to me.
Nice. Yeah, I always mean to look at the different alien races that they show.
Yeah.
But I was so dialed into their conversation that I was literally watching their mouths move. Like that's how it was.
But I mean, episode 8. I mean, like Anthony said, is just fantastic. I mean, the sheer grit in it. I mean, emotion that they're going through as far as the travesty that it is just amazing. I mean, the acting in this series has just been top notch all the way through. I mean, it makes you really feel exactly what they're going through.
Yeah, no man, the way they make this show like relatable and the tension and like I believe I texted both of you guys this exact statement, but like the the amount of like tension and like sphincter clinching these episodes
Yes,
make
you
me
did bring
feel
that
is
up.
absolutely insane,
Yeah.
dude. I'm like literally on the edge of my seat every time. So amazing.
I also think it was really interesting how they didn't put the Gorman Massacre in episode 9.
Mm,
Like it was
Yeah.
interesting that
yeah.
it almost felt like it could have been like the last thing that happened in 9.
Finale of an arc, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the exclamation mark of
Yes.
an arc. But instead, we got an even greater exclamation. We literally got like a double exclamation mark for
Like
the Senate scene.
it was literally like the whole setup where it was actually very similar to like what Game of Thrones used to do, where like episode 9 would be the episode where like everything would
went
go
down. Battle of the Bastards, Red
Yeah.
Wedding, like all of that.
all that stuff was episode 9. Even the beheading of, I believe the beheading
Mhm,
of
it was, yep.
was actually in episode 9, and then episode 10 would be like dealing with all the fallout
Mhm.
of everything that had happened. So I think it was a very good use to like, episode 8 was just like this. Like it was just so much tension, so much tension. You were so much tension. Then the last 15 minutes were just chaos.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah. So, final thoughts, gentlemen, before we get out of here on this very long podcast.
Just phenomenal. Like it is like, I legitimately, I'm getting up out of my like seat at my house when I'm getting closer to the TV. Like every time I'm watching it, I'm just like wanting to get closer and closer
Yeah.
as it pulls me in.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing I can say is that, like, take away the Star Wars elements of this series. It is a great story about just the birth of a rebellion
Yeah.
against a power that is corrupt. Like
Yeah.
it is so amazing.
I mean, I completely agree. I mean, it's just a fantastic show. I look forward to the next 3 episodes, and I did just think of a buy or sell.
Ooh. Okay.
All right, bring
Buy
it
or
out.
sell. Leia will make an appearance.
Dude, I mean, I feel like she should have made one by now, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, my super hot spicy take ended up being completely off, but from last week, I'll buy it since they have Bale and involved.
I'm gonna go ahead and I am gonna buy it actually because I do think we may be seeing her like get on the the ship to, hey, you need to go and receive
Yeah.
the everything. Like,
Is it possible that we end up seeing something along the lines that's like some of the last episode or so is actually running parallel to Rogue One?
that'd be I mean
Like
that'd be
maybe
great.
from like Yavin side a little bit. Like you're seeing them
the scramble
yeah,
to
like,
make
yeah,
it
like the
happen.
scramble to get them to the point to where they can get the information to them.
I mean I'm here for it, man. I'm here
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah, I mean, totally am. I mean, I would love to see that.
All right. Well, I will say that it is about that time, ladies and gentlemen. We have talked long enough about these 3 episodes, episodes 7, 8, and 9. And come back next week as we finish Andor, the second season, and the series, actually. It's a series finale next week. Series finale week. Anyway, we are so excited to talk about it and break it down with you guys. And Steven, thank you so much for showing up here tonight and breaking this down with us. Had a blast. Shamato, class act as always. T-Roll, you suck. You're not here. And you still haven't watched any of these episodes we're talking about as we're recording
Hero
this.
come back.
Yeah. So, anyway, for all of us here at the Royal Geek Podcast and our Royal Geek affiliates, we appreciate you guys for listening. Please like, follow, subscribe wherever you are listening. We really appreciate it. So, see you next time, you peasants.